In this video, we're going to talk about two different ways that you can classify characters in the stories that you read: static versus dynamic characters. When we hear the word static, we may think of static on the radio or static on TV. If you look up static in the dictionary, static, the definition means lacking in movement, action, or change. When we think of dynamic, we might hear the word dynamite in our head, like an explosion. The definition of dynamic in the dictionary means continuously moving or changing. So those dictionary definitions we're going to use and apply to the way that we look at characters. A dynamic character changes. Now, the change is usually we're talking about an internal change, not a change in height or weight or physical features, but something happens to them internally. The examples of the type of changes that we're looking at would be a change in the character's opinions or values. The character may learn a lesson through the story. The character may become more mature because of what happened to them through the story, more aware of him or herself or the others around them, or they may change because their relationship with someone else changes. So those are the internal changes that we talk about that happen because of the events in the story. A static character is the opposite of that. Static characters do not change. The events in the story do not alter the character in any way. So the outlook of that character, the personality, the motivation, the perception, the habits of those static characters remain the same. They are unchanged. Protagonists tend to be dynamic characters. That's not always the case, but most of the time when we're reading a story and the character is going to be changed by what happens to him or her through the events of the story. We expect that to happen. Minor characters and supporting characters tend to be static. The events of the story do not change them. Sometimes they're there for us to contrast against the main character. So we see somebody who stays the same and someone who changes. The Grinch is an example of a dynamic character. It changes from the beginning to the end of the story. In the beginning, his heart is 2 sizes too small. He's selfish and cruel. He's doing all that he can to ruin Christmas for the Who's in Whoville. But eventually the events of the story change him. He returns the gifts, trees, and food and ends up celebrating Christmas with the Who's at the end of the story. Now, in the same story, we have a static character. Max, the dog, the Grinch's dog, is a static character. The events of the story don't change him at all. He remains loyal to the Grinch throughout the whole story. He is a minor character, but we often compare the Grinch's behavior to Max's. Harry Potter from the Harry Potter series is most definitely a dynamic character. If you think of the very beginning of the first book, Harry is bullied and ignored and living under the stairs at his aunt and uncle's house. He feels that he's nobody, he's unimportant, he's insignificant. His experiences transform him into the most powerful wizard. By the end of the series, his views towards the world around him change, his opinion of himself as well as others' opinions of him change, and his opinions about love and sacrifice change as well. In that same series, we can find a static character. Professor McGonagall is a static character. She's one of the professors at Hogwarts where Harry Potter is a student, and throughout all the adventures, the events of the series do not change her. She's loyal to Dumbledore and the school, and both the challenges, and supports Harry and her students. So she is unchanged. She is static. I hope the examples help a little bit. I'm sure you can come up with some examples of your own. Okay, so to sum everything up, dynamic characters change throughout the course of the story. Static characters do not. Protagonists are usually dynamic characters, though that doesn't always have to be the case. Minor and supporting characters are usually static. and then we have some examples. So now you are ready to consider and analyze the characters in the stories that you read and classify them as either dynamic or static.